What happens when a small business and its biggest global competitor can rent much of the same artificial intelligence? Chinese labs help make capable models cheaper, and open weights a serious strategy. Inkling, Murthy's startup, points to the next shift. The winning advantage is no longer the model. It is the system a business builds, its workflow, its data, its tests, and its control. When you evaluate an AI product, ask what valuable capability your business will own, then rent the intelligence and own the system. Why are Chinese AI labs changing what every business pays for useful intelligence? Groups such as DeepSeek, Qwen help normalize a different way to compete, release capable model weights, encourage other companies to host and adopt them, and price useful intelligence so it can run at scale. That does not mean every Chinese model is better than every American model. It means the premium models now have to justify their premium on a task-by-task basis. Businesses can reserve expensive intelligence for genuinely different cases. Before paying a premium, test one routine task and find the least expensive model that clears your quality threshold. What can a model release tell us about where AI competition is moving? Thinking Machine Labs, Inkling is interesting because the company does not claim it is the strongest model overall. It presents a broad open weights model that customers can fine-tune, evaluate, and deploy through Tinker and the wider provider ecosystem. Inkling is not America's first frontier model open weights release. Grok 1 and OpenAI's GPT open source came earlier. The strongest signal here is the package: models, tools, evaluation, and repeated adoption. The product is becoming an improvement loop, not a checkpoint. When you compare AI vendors, ask how easily their systems can be evaluated, adapted, and improved for your work. What turns a clever model into dependable business work? It's harness. A harness is the operating system around the model. It decides which company information the model can see, which tools it can use, how a task moves from one step to another, when a person must approve an action, human in the loop. It also records what happened, tests whether the result is acceptable, and helps the system recover when something fails. A strong model inside a weak harness is still unreliable. A cheaper model inside a disciplined harness can create far more business value. Map one real workflow and write down the context, tools, approvals, and tests its harness would need. If every competitor can access the same AI, where can your advantage come from? Imagine an Australian manufacturer or an Indian service firm, a multinational incumbent, calling the same model. They still won't get the same result. One business may give the model clean product knowledge, current operational data, trusted definitions, safe tools, and examples of acceptable work. Another may give it a vague prompt in a folder of stale documents. The subscription is not the moat. The difficult-to-copy asset is the operating knowledge and learning encoded around it. Audit one AI workflow. Is it learning from trusted operating knowledge or only from a clever prompt? Why can't a chatbot answer every operational question from one giant folder? Suppose you ask, which product lines lost margin last quarter? What caused the change? And which supplier or pricing decisions should we investigate? A chatbot cannot answer that reliably from a pile of uploaded files. Contracts and narrative notes belong in document retrieval. Revenue, costs, suppliers, and time periods belong in governed database queries. Ratios and reconciliations belong in a calculation tool. The model plans, selects the right tools, and explains the evidence. It is not the database, it's not the calculator, and it's not the security boundary. These controls remain in the application and the systems of record. Before automating a decision, list its evidence types and assign each one to the right governed tool. Can being smaller make your business faster using AI? Large companies have more people, data, and capital. They also have more legacy systems, approval layers, and organizational resistance. An SME can choose one valuable workflow, define it precisely, and improve it faster. That might mean producing a reliable quote in hours instead of days, finding a supply problem earlier, or answering an overseas customer around the clock from improved knowledge. The opportunity is not generic AI transformation. It's using focus and specialist knowledge to create speed where customers notice it. Choose one customer visible delay this week and ask whether a focused AI workflow could shorten it. Does an open weights model mean your business should run it on its own hardware? Open weights solve an access problem. They do not remove the hardware, security, maintenance, or integration work. Inkling makes that boundary vivid. According to its model card, even the quantized full model requires at least 600 gigabytes of aggregate VRAM. That is not a casual small business deployment. The benefit is often indirect. More providers can host comparable models, specialist vendors can adopt them, and the business has alternatives when price or policy changes. For most SMEs, start with managed access. Own the business system, not the idle GPU cluster. Before buying hardware, compare managed access, vertical software, and self-hosting against the business outcome you need. What is the safest first AI project for a small business? Start with one decision or workflow where delay, rework, or scarce expertise already has a measurable cost. Record the baseline, cycle time, staff effort, errors, and rework. Then connect only the evidence and the tools the workflow genuinely needs. Begin read-only whenever possible. Build a test set from real work. Include ordinary cases, edge cases, and actions the system must never take. Then compare models on a cost per accepted outcome, not benchmark position or token price. Scale only when the workflow produces useful work faster, more cheaply, or more reliably than the current process. Pick one costly workflow, record today's baseline, and scale only when AI improves the accepted outcomes. Which AI assets should your business actually own? Own the workflow, where AI enters, what completion means, and who remains accountable. Own the context, the source material, metric definitions, and controlled connections to systems of record. Own the tests, real examples that let you compare models and detect regressions. And own the controls, identity, permissions, approvals, and audit trails. Expect the model to change. Use whichever model provider meets the quality, cost, and risk threshold for the task. The same intelligence may be available to every competitor. Your business system is not. Write down 4 assets for one workflow today. Keep the model replaceable and rent the intelligence while you own the system.